Namaste and welcome, lovers of the planets of stars, lovers of astrology, lovers of Jyotish, to Kṣaṇāti Jyotish channel. It is a great honor to be able to discuss with you some relevant transits that are impacting us right now. So I'm going to be doing a little transit report to help to support the community out there during this time. Some of these transits are beneficial and some of them are difficult, but there are just some major points that I would like to cover about the different transits. The first transit that we're going to cover is going to be that Mars is retrograde. And Mars is retrograde from November 12th. That will last all the way through November 12th. So it's a pretty long lasting one. And that's when it will re-enter its natural sign of Aries, or its Mula Trikona sign. This is generally unfavorable as it brings aggressiveness. It brings a tendency towards anger, radical thinking, radical beliefs, radical actions. So we have to be careful for that. But a well-positioned Mars, a well-positioned retrograde Mars can bring lots of good and can give a lot of person a lot of inspiration and a lot of power in what they have to say and what they have to express. Now, this is a time for people to turn down their heat and their fire within themselves. That's pitta dosha, and that means aggressiveness. Learn to cool down and take it easy. Don't stress, don't fret, because this is a time naturally where that fiery energy will be strong inside of you. So it's very important during this time to keep that pitta energy pacified with cooling foods, cooling energy. There are different pranayamas you can use, shitali and shikari breath, that'll be very beneficial for you at this time. Now, for society, as long as this transit lasts, we can see political aggressiveness as a possibility, as well as military involvement. And we have all heard the rumors of war. And so because of this military or political aggressiveness, we must be concerned about this during this time of Mars retrograde. Now, Mars retrograde is a time where we look inwards and we look at the root cause of what is making us angry. Because spiritually speaking, Mars can be a very spiritually evolved and spiritual planet in the sense that it's religious, and that's why it's connected and best friends with Jupiter. So what is the source of that anger? Why are we angry? And how can we transform that anger to maybe happiness or passion or zealousness? And so for Mars or Pisces ascendants, which it'll be targeting specifically at this time, it is an important time to stay focused on goals and remain well-grounded. So stay focused on all of your progress and all of your goals and stay well-grounded on them. That means don't get distracted from them. Don't get too lost in the spiritual, but stay physical with daily exercise, daily practice, and daily play. Now, Mercury will also remain retrograde through November 2nd, and it is stationary in the sign of Libra until it enters Scorpio at that point. Now, Mercury retrograde is a time where it's difficult for communication, it's difficult for technology, it's difficult for understanding, it's difficult for learning, it's difficult to be understood. It's a difficult time for our expression, and so we seek alternative forms of expression. Mercury retrograde can lead to error relating logical errors or errors relating to our rational minds, which may lead to illogical decisions or illogical actions. And so this transit makes particularly unfavorable. It's not a good time to make long-term decisions about your house, about moving, about car, about marriage. It's a time to pause until November 2nd and when it comes to making big decisions, they should really be made after this period is over. Now, for Gemini, Virgo, or Mercury ascendants, who this will be targeting the most, this will allow your logical mind to go inward and focus deeply on introspective, on meditative techniques. So if you're a Mercury, Virgo, Gemini ascendant, and especially a Mercury retrograde ascendant, this is a real time to go inward with your spiritual practices. Now, during this time, the sun is also going to be debilitated in the sign of Libra. This transit will last through November 14th, when the sun will enter the Mars-ruled sign of Scorpio, where my natal sun is placed. Now, when the sun is debilitated, it tends to manifest in two different ways. So I've seen two different ways that the sun manifests when it's debilitated in Libra in people's charts. In one manifestations, you see low self-esteem. They don't believe in their character. They don't believe in their purpose. They don't have dharma. They don't feel connected to their dharma. Their life lacks purpose. Their life lacks meaning. And this is a very sad manifestation of the sun in Libra that can be very challenging in the chart. But also, on the other difficult manifestation, because the sun is debilitated in Libra, there could be an overcompensation of the ego, or what they call the Napoleon complex. And this is when the native possesses narcissistic or selfish tendencies to overcompensate for their insecurity. So they may act very egoistic in their nature. But the truly balanced spiritual Sun Libra native will remain humble without overcompensating that ego, and without also sacrificing the pride of their soul. So they will still be proud of their soul, proud of their dharma, but not with this inflation of the ego. And a Leo or Sun ascendant, who this will be targeting specifically, has to work rigorously on the balance of their ego by treating everyone and themselves equally. There will be temptation to treat people inferior to you if you have that overcompensating factor. Or you may think that everyone's better than you if you don't have that high self-esteem. But it's a really important time to treat everyone as an equal. Now, the last position which I want to discuss is Jupiter being in its root position in Sagittarius. And this will last until November 19th, when Jupiter enters its debilitated sign of Capricorn. Now, in its root position, it gets to its Atmakarika, which means it's at the highest position in the sky. And in this position, it gains extreme power and strength. So Jupiter is very strong as we're coming into this early mid-November transit. This will benefit society as morals and ethics will become more ingrained in policies and procedures. So you can see morals and ethics, people doing the right thing. And this is very interesting, not to get too political, but at the same time as the political election, a change in morality, a change in ethics, a change in people trying to do things the right way or for the right thing. So hopefully we can see political positive changes for all of our countries. Now, this will benefit society spiritually, as coming from a pandemic, it encourages us to believe in a higher power. This coronavirus, some people have lost people close to them, but everyone knows who's been touched by the coronavirus. And so we have come to have this deeper spiritual connection of these powers which are greater than ourselves. Jupiter in this key position, Mula Tricona of Sagittarius, will also bring justice to injustices. And we live in the world where that has already happened, as Jupiter has been in Sagittarius. How many people who have committed horrible and horrific crimes, racial crimes, sexual crimes, are finally seeking justice, are finally getting justice for the crimes they committed. That energy is only getting stronger And so there will be fairness, freedom, and equality in the world as Jupiter reaches its Atmakarika highest degree, root tricona position. And so for the Sagittarius and Jupiter ascendant, who this will be impacting the most, you may be called on to be representative of this moral priority. So that means you are held morally reprehensible as kind of a statute of what someone should be during this time. So we want to be that higher version of ourselves. We want to be that guru version of ourselves. So these are a lot of significant transits that are happening at this time. I just want to update the various viewers of Kṣaṇāti Jyotish on the transits which are happening at this time. And I hope this video has been beneficial for all of you. Many blessings. Hari Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste.